The RBA's constant failure. Let's have a look. Good morning everyone, I'm Florian Heise and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. I've got my morning stein of coffee and I thought we would start the day having a look at this article. Now this is an interesting one written by Jason Murphy from news.com. I like a lot of what he's writing. This one is fantastic. He's looking at wage growth in Australia and a little graph here that, if you just have a look at it, you might have an instant understanding of what it's talking about. It's to do with the constant failure of the Reserve Bank of Australia to predict wage growth. Now, I would argue this is clear evidence of fundamental issues with their modelling, their methodology, and their economic theories, because they are constantly failing again and again and again and again and again. Every time I read anything from the RBA, all of the minutes of the last few meetings that we've gone through, it's always been unexpected, unexpected. Strong economic headwinds, unexpected, unexpected. It's always unexpected. So, if you are constantly getting things wrong, then maybe you need to question your whole approach. So I'm becoming much more skeptical of the monetary system and the school of economic theory that it's based upon, and the way that the central banks try to centrally plan and control and just nudge the economy in different directions with their levers. I'm leaning more and more towards the Austrian approach. And the fact that the RBA just ignores monetary creation in the banks is just insane. Anyway, let's have a look. So have you seen this viral graph going around? It shows a frightening fact about Australia's economic situation. We experienced an acute and totally unexpected fall in wages growth. Oh yeah, there you go. Remember this was the GFC when wages went down. Then 2011, that was where we were meant to be. That was where they were predicting. 2012. These were all the predictions for the future. So they look how desperate they're getting to say it's shooting up higher. Look at that. The graph shows wage growth falling below 2% a year, and the Reserve Bank of Australia, our independent economic policy brains trust, failing to expect it. Well, that's their thing. Yes. Their forecast repeatedly showed an expectation the problem will get better. Meanwhile, it gets worse. This sequence of events explains a great deal about Australia's economic malaise. Nobody expected it to come to this. Oh, I think there are a few people that expected it. I think there are a few people that predicted. But it takes a while for reality to set in when you're in a constant Ponzi boom. When your property prices are being shot up by significant amounts of foreign investment. And then everyone starts to feel more wealthy, so they spend more. But the fundamentals of the economy, the fact that Australia is a primitive economy, guys, we're a primitive economy. This is from the Observatory of Economic Complexity, one of my many favorite websites I refer to. Look at what we're exporting. We're not advanced. We mine stuff, we flip houses, and we sell coffees to each other. And don't forget Smashed Ave. That's Australia's economy. Okay, that's pretty much what we are. It's all good, But no single graph can tell the whole story. There's more to it. And the true moral of the story is not simply one that some people are drawing from the graph. Many people believe the RBA is stupid for missing these forecasts. Others think the RBA is duplicitous. Some people subscribe to a theory of a great conspiracy to drive down wages. Well, guys, let me know in the comment which camp are you in. Would you say they're stupid if you disagree with their economic theories? I guess that's a rather blunt way to say it. I don't believe in any of those, and I don't think anyone sensible ought to either. Yes, the RBA has been embarrassed, but it published the above graph to highlight the error. I don't know, if you question their approach to economic theory, is that stupid? I guess maybe they're not even going to challenge their They're too embedded in the system to even challenge their thinking. That's an issue you can have. So meanwhile, it is in everyone's long-run interest, government, business, and citizen, for wage growth to be high, because without high wage growth, we see terrible weakness in consumption, and consumption is by far the largest part of our economy. Okay, this is another thing. Another thing to consider. The RBA doesn't count property, house price increases or land in CPI, in the Consumer Price Index. CPI, which we're all led to believe is a measure of cost of living, isn't actually a cost of living. It isn't. If you were to account house prices going up into CPI, it would be about 0.5% higher. And remember, CPI is generally a wearing away of the purchasing power of your money. So if you don't get a wage increase, your wage stays the same, but CPI has been 3%, you've essentially lost 3% of your purchasing power over a year. And they don't include housing, only new purchases of newly built buildings. And the thing is, that is going to have an impact on people's consumer spending. If you need to save up an insane deposit for a house, you cut back on discretionary spending. You cut back on spending in the retail sector. 10% of our workforce in this nation is employed in the retail sector. We're seeing talk of a retail recession everywhere but JB Hi-Fi. And they got a shot up because I'd say the tax return. We'll see if they continue for the next few months. So that's a fundamental issue I have with the approach. That they're ignoring this one thing, which is a goal for most Australians. Most Australians aspire to own a home. They aspire to own a home. And if it's a smart thing or a foolish thing, that's a question for another day. But most people, we can all agree, aspire for a home, and then they make purchasing decisions based on that. They will cut back on their consumer spending. They'll do what they have to do. Or they'll even go interest only, like we looked at yesterday, and I will put a timestamp to that if I remember that here, and you can look at that one. That's a little worrying that people are making that decision for a house. So, back to the article. Why are wages so low? The fall in wages isn't just an Australian phenomenon. It has been global among advanced economies. Are we advanced? I think we seem to think we are, but we're not really, guys. We're not really. Remember, we're, what is it, 59 in the world? Australia should stop referring to itself as an advanced economy. That's one thing. Jason, mate, good article, but yeah, we're not an advanced economy. We have a high per capita GDP, but we're not advanced. So, and we still don't know exactly why it's happening. This is one of the things economists have to admit sometimes. The economy is complex and we don't fully understand it. Well, okay, let me postulate a theory. Maybe the fact that you've got large numbers of, well, two things. One, the spread of internet. So work can be offshored to other nations where wages are significantly cheaper. I've seen that in my industry. I compete with firms that do that. Large architectural firms will have an office in the Philippines, or Milan, or Vietnam. And they will put all the drafting work out there. I even worked at a practice when I was a student where they flied in people from Vietnam to train up here and send back. Can you believe that? Because they were cheaper. They were cheaper. So there's one reason. There's one reason right there. Technology allows jobs, particularly service industry jobs, to be offshored to nations where wages are significantly cheaper. Significantly cheaper. And you don't have the red tape or the BS to deal with as you do over here. Just trying to, it's very hard to fire someone in Australia, so you have to be very cautious with hiring someone because it can bite you in the ass, particularly as a small business owner. And the other thing, the significant amount of immigration. Australian population has increased 25% since 2000. And I literally read an article this morning where immigrants who were, respected and had high education levels back home, their degrees didn't translate, so they took low-skilled jobs. So it's just the way it is, guys. You increase your population, you're going to drive down wages. It's not a natural increase, it's a sharp, big increase. There's another reason why it's happening. So there we go, we got two. There's two. What else do you want? You look at Europe. You look at Europe, what's happening in the wages there. You look at America. You look at the UK. What part of the reason that Brexit is so popular is the working classes are the ones that are suffering due to their open border policy over there. They're having to compete with foreigners who are willing to work for cheaper wages because, well, they can live cheaper at home. Come do a stint there, just live a crappy life, put up with it, go back home, you're much better. Which everyone can understand why people would do that. We can all relate. But these are two theories as to why I would say wages are low in Australia. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments. Am I just rambling there, or you think I got an idea? So, here we go. There are a lot of theories why wages have fallen. It might be the decline of unions. It might be the rise of international trade. It might be underemployment, the rise of technology, the power of big business to pay lower wages, or lower labour productivity growth. Depending on your bias, and we all have them, it's possible to become convinced by any of these theories because they all make sense. The decline of unions. Unions don't drive up wages. They drive them down. And they've grown. They have, well, most of them are middle-aged women now, aren't they? But the best economists have fallen on the data and tried to analyze it to determine which of the above is to blame. They tend to come up saying it's a little bit of everything, but even when you take all these things into account, we still can't fully explain how low wages growth is. This leaves a mystery factor. Why haven't they said population growth in here? Where did he say that? That wasn't mentioned. Wonder why. It appears that some, as yet unidentified common factor or factors have weighed on wage growth in recent years. I've just given you a factor, guys. Rampant population growth, not keeping up with infrastructure, putting additional demands on services and driving wages down. Is it just the information that I'm consuming online that's putting that theory forward? Why has it not entered the mainstream? I know the old argument is that that immigration only has a slight decrease on, well, actually it has a slight buff to an economy, very slight. But that's based on much more traditional flows of immigration, particularly in Europe. When you have mass migration, you've got social upheaval, and there's a whole other costs associated with that. We're having it here in Australia too. One of the issues that you'll see, and we're seeing it again, is that when you have cultures go from one area to another, there is an intergenerational isolation between the cultures. And this can result in issues and social issues that can manifest in the broader community. And we're starting to see that happen here in Australia. You've got parents who've come from a conflict-ridden area. They cannot relate to the issues that their children are having, because the children only know this, and the dilemmas and dramas they're having day to day here just can't resonate with their parents who know what real hardship is. Well, that's one theory. So, the secrets of Mystery Cove. The existence of the mystery factor helps somewhat in forgiving the RBA for its misses. Nobody expected the mystery factor, and if we can't even find it now, it's hard to forecast in advance. The good news about the mystery factor is it seems to be on the wane. In the US and UK, where wage growth was like Australia depressed for a long time, growth has recently jumped up 4%. This week, UK wage growth hit its highest level in 10 years. Yes, because people are leaving. Wow, do the mainstream normies not appreciate this? Is this not in the media, guys? Polish workers are leaving the UK because of fears of Brexit and other issues. They're leaving the country. That means the lowest skilled workers, or the workers that are competing with the working class in the UK, are leaving, so wages are going up. Is this surprising to anyone? Or am I the only one that watches Black Pigeon Speaks? So, what those countries have done is drive unemployment way down, below 4%. That needs to be a priority here too. And all arms of government, RBA, Treasury and state treasuries too, should be working to achieve this. Australia's unemployment rate is at 5.9%, higher than this time last year. Now I'm going to link to another video from Roy Morgan, and I will remember to put that in. I keep forgetting. And that shows you just the different methodology in unemployment. I would say unemployment, you could probably take the RBA number and double it, closer to 10%. Then if you take underemployment as well, that's even worse. And also people get frustrated and leave the economy. I mean, if you're working 1 hour, guys, within a survey period, do you think you could live off that? Do you think you could? So, maybe if you're a politician and you turn up 1 hour during or just to walk from one side of the room to vote, wow, I'm still pissed off about the cash ban. So, can we hope for wages growth to pick up? As the next graph shows, it already has. What's more, the RBA forecast has gotten a lot lower. There's even a chance that if wages growth leaps, the RBA, chastened by its recent overestimates, will fail to forecast that as well. And indeed, the 2019 forecast is sitting slightly lower than the wage index price. Well, maybe they're starting to learn. Maybe they're starting to learn. So what I would love to see is unemployment falling and wages growth rising so high and so fast the RBA suffers another series of embarrassing missed forecasts, but this time missed it on the lower side. Well, Jason, I think we can all agree with your hope there, 100%, that it will be the inverse of this and wages will go up, demand for workers will go up. But the thing is, you know, we're an economy of flipping houses and digging stuff up the ground. How are we going to increase wages? How are we going to spur more manufacturing, producing real goods, where we can compete on a global scale and increase this economic complexity? That's what the discussion needs to be about at a macro level, at a national level. How can Australia become, you know, maybe the food basket of the world or an economic powerhouse of the world? We've got all the natural resources. We just need the political will. And we need a community to rise together. Will that happen? Let me know what you think in the comments and what your theories are with regards to this decline in wage growth. Take care, everyone. Like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoy the videos I produce and you'd like to help me make more, I have a Patreon and subscribe star link below. Every bit helps. I also have affiliate links where it doesn't cost you anything and you help support the channel. Take care, have a great day, and I'll see you all later.